Welcome! If you are new here, my name is Brenna. I am your burnt like perfect toast DM, and welcome to Tales from the Catacombs. This is our tabletop RPG adventure that we are thrilled to share with you. This game uses the Dungeons&Dragons 5th edition D20 system and rules, and the setting is a homebrew based off of the rock musical Razia's Shadow by Forgive Durden. We have a brief introduction to the setting that you can read at your leisure, and I hope you will, so you can be as immersed in the world as our players are. Without further ado, please enjoy this episode of Razia's Shadow, a 1,000-Year Interlude. Let's recap. Session 19, Walls and Shadow. While fleeing from the surrounding fiends, Pistachio the horse was spooked by an arrow that seemed to appear from nowhere. Another 3 arrows shot out at the novices, and the wagon was tipped by the jolt. They were confronted by a gray-skinned gnome, and Beau warned the others that they needed to flee from him. Snow's quick thinking with an illusion sent the gnome in the opposite direction, and the novices ran, only to find themselves going full circle in the disorienting mist. They would have to find their way out through the compound at the top of the hill, the only visible structure around. Numerous goblins and hobgoblins acted as sentries along the cobbled outer wall, but hiding deep within, in a room overflowing with the stolen goods, was an ostentatious Yuan-Ti who didn't take kindly to the interruption of her actions to aid an evil entity. The novices overpowered her and forced her to lead them to a way out of the strange, dark place. They went down the grate in the floor of what looked like a prison cell and met an impossibly deep waterway. Ste'yn helped them reach the water safely, and after a harrowing few minutes without air, they were spat out at the other side, in a gently flowing river, back on the expected road to Hazelford. So, you guys find yourselves on this riverbank, holding on, coughing up water, except Beau, who wasn't breathing.
I'll fake it.
That's fair. You're welcome to fake
Just
it.
to make the rest of us feel better.
Here,
To make him look less suspicious.
Let's be our first roll for the night. Give me a deception roll.
Oh.
Deception. Anyone who may or may not be paying attention, roll perception with disadvantage.
Alright, well, I got a 22 so far. Anyway.
We're starting.
I can't even roll that high of perception, I don't think. Not without
All
a
the
nat
better.
20.
Hey, you never know.
That's also a 22, but Ste'yn also knows what's up. So.
Oh, that's true.
That's so perfect.
Is Viola just kind of...
She got a 7, so she's not really paying attention.
Something I don't know, or at least maybe I don't remember. Do we still see the Auntie, or is it missing?
As Beau, along with the rest of you, is coughing up water and just kind of getting yourselves situated again after going through the darkness, through the water, and just kind of spat out back on shore. I'll also allow those perception checks. So what did we get? We had 22 for
Can I make
Ste'yn's.
a perception check?
You can make a proper perception, yes.
Cool.
No, what was your perception?
5.
A 5?
My
Okay.
proper perception is, I think, the lowest. Oh, never mind. It's not the lowest. It's 5.
Hide.
Heck yeah.
It's so proper.
Love it. So while the others are kind of pulling themselves up, even Viola, who lost track of the fact that she was the one kind of holding on to the Yuan-Ti, Ste'yn, as you look back at the water, having pulled yourself up, you see this flash of gold underneath the water. It does not appear to be moving of its own accord. It appears to be just following a little bit further towards the middle of the river. Just seems to be following the flow of the river, unmoving. And just steadily sinking kind of further. You've seen corpses before. It appears that the drowning was much more lethal for her than it was for the 4 of you.
Now heals himself 9 points.
9?
He is
Okay,
back to
noted.
full.
You guys pull yourselves out of the water. You are drenched, just completely sopping wet. But you're not far off from a path that it definitely looks like a straightaway going through kind of a few more trees, heading, I'd say it looks familiar, well, maybe vaguely familiar. You hadn't been on that path in a little bit. Oh wait, no, you were just on that path like 2 weeks ago.
Well, no,
Something
I mean,
like
there was
that,
like
right?
a 2-month gap between when we went there, but it
Oh
also,
right, you didn't come directly.
I mean, but
from
we also all
Hazelford.
traveled separately. So, I mean, Beau probably came in from a different angle than somebody else did. We didn't all
Sure.
just chill at the
It
one
does
place
look
and then go
like-
straight south.
I'll put it this way then. It looks like a much more commonly traveled road. So you might get the sense you're probably back on a commonly traveled path if you kind of could get a sense of where you are.
But we don't see anybody on this path. Like, no,
Not
no
at the
merchant
moment.
caravan or anything like that.
Not this very second, but looking at the way the path looks, you wouldn't be surprised if sooner or later someone did pass you by. What are you guys doing?
They
Well,
got wet.
some of y'all
Viola's-
are dying.
Viola is looking very not in the best of health right now. Just to throw that out
And
there.
we're all soaking
But
wet.
Yeah, Beau's not looking the easiest either, but he was shot by a bolt when we were fighting those people.
Oh yeah.
We're all looking
That
kind
did
of rough,
happen.
except for Snow.
the snow, as soon as he gets
Snow
out of the
always
water,
looks
so
full
there.
No, how are your braids looking? That's what I really want to know. How are those braids looking?
They gotta be redone. It's
Dang
gonna-
it.
Water
It's
damage.
such a hassle, I know. Everyone else
Dang
is
it.
dying, but my braids, like, that needs to take priority.
Yeah, I
Viola, you're gonna need to
simultaneously
get up.
I simultaneously don't want to do this, but I also know it needs to be done. Beau is going to assess the damage to his things.
That's what
Once
Viola.
we're off on the ground.
That's
Yeah.
Dan
what
doesn't
Viola
have
would
many
do.
things. She's gonna start just drying herself off whatever way she can, maybe getting a fire going.
I like that this is trying off.
David has been dreading this moment for literally 2 weeks. I think he
I
messaged
realized
me
it the
that
very
same
next
night and was
day.
like,
Yeah.
so what happened to all of our paper stuff? Yeah, you take your bag off the moment you look inside. So how are you going about this? Are you looking? Are you going to start taking things out? It looks like if you just look inside. Let me do it this way.
well, are
When
there
you just look
trees?
inside of
Oh,
your
sorry.
bags, you see like you're watching like the water. There's like little puddles at the very bottom. There are in everyone's bag. If you had some kind of paper or something, you do see some spots where like you see little corners of pages kind of sticking to the sides of the bag in some areas. With that type of damage noted just initially, what was that you wanted to say, Beau?
Oh, well, I was gonna ask if there's any trees with like low branches, and like, because you mentioned a path, but I don't know if like, is this like a clearing or is there like a tree path?
It's kind of similar to the one that you were in when you realized something strange was going on earlier. What, a
Right.
couple hours ago, if that? So, but a little more sparse, just a
Oh,
little
it
more
was-
sparse.
it was
So I'm sure
like-
you could find a tree.
I mean, I think we were only there for like 30 minutes technically, because Ste'yn's
Did you
detect
go through
magic
that
was
fast?
on more than half of our search through the inside of the keep.
For
So we
like
were-
an hour.
Yeah, so we
Or
still have a
something.
mind link with the three of us because that was for 6 hours.
I thought about that
Yes.
for half a second
That's the day.
and then forgot again. Yeah, I'm sure you can find a tree that's got a lower branch, or you can climb because you're also, you know.
Yeah.
But
Well, I was thinking for a clothes hanger.
yeah, I'd say you could find something like that.
Okay, cool. So he's gonna put all of his common clothes up, and then he's also gonna put his armor, I guess, up, his leather armor.
Okay, just start letting it air out.
Yeah, 'cause he's not gonna trudge around and freezing
wise.
because
No,
I mean
I
the water
agree.
was freezing because we were taking damage from the water. So that's how you get bad things. Stick around in freezing clothes.
Hypothermia.
The water itself, I mean, there were other reasons, but also, yeah, definitely.
Still don't want to sit in wet things all day. Snow is
Definitely.
gonna help everyone get out of their armor and everything, and he'll light the fire instantly once we have a little bit of wood set up.
Viola's
And he'll
gonna.
start-
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Viola's gonna reach into her waistband and get out her journal and flip to the first page to see if it's ruined or not.
The moment that you take the journal from your waistband, so the outside was like a nice leather texture, right? So yeah, you unclasp it. Give me just a dexterity sleight of hand.
It's an 8.
You open it up. As you turn the cover, 2 of those pages just slide with it and just kind of tear and drag. And you can see the ink is smeared and pushed alongside it. On the other side of it, the next page, it's still currently intact, but that ink you can also see is just slowly kind of been bleeding into the rest of those pages. That journal is unfortunately not going to be usable.
Viola is gonna hold the journal out to Ste'yn and Snow and just say, like, is there anything you can do?
Oh, Viola.
And she is very visibly crying.
Magic.
Snow gives her a hug.
Fix this. I'm so sorry.
She starts sobbing, and she just sits down on the ground.
Ste'yn will sit down next to her and just start stroking her fingers through her hair.
They will have that moment. Snow, were you also comforting her?
Yes.
Okay.
He's also going to, if possible, start tending to wounds so they don't get infected or anything. Because
Excellent
I
idea.
know Viola at least looks very rough.
Yeah, she was doing, it was pretty rough. Viola didn't have much, if I recall, as far as like paper things. I think I noted she had like some playing cards in there and a torch. So you can imagine the torch is probably pretty soaked through.
I didn't put this in her inventory, but she also had the guardianship handbook thing, and so I'm guessing that's ruined as well, but she's not gonna cry over that.
Nah, I imagine not. Handbook.
Victory over the gods.
You know?
If the rules get washed away, so be it.
That's Snow's comfort to her. Like, look, at least the rule book is also gone.
You don't have to worry about it
The
anymore.
equivalent exchange.
While Snow and Ste'yn are comforting Viola, for those who don't know, I believe she introduced that, at least to Ste'yn, right? The journal she's been writing in every night. Beau, I imagine you're a little less touchy-feely comforting.
Well,
Are you looking through your bag?
Well, I don't know how close, because he went to go hang his stuff on the trees, and then she also addressed those two. So he's probably just been in the zone rummaging through his stuff since she didn't say his name. Yeah. So the region map that we got. I'm guessing,
I got you.
Okay.
So, Beau.
Okay.
So you had never eaten, as far as I know, that pocket bacon.
Well, I also drastically overthought the amount of. So I pictured it like a bacon that formed into a rose. So I gave him like 5 strips of bacon or something like that. Like
oh,
it was,
no. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
so I deleted it because I was like, it's not, he would have eaten it by now. He was,
Okay, so
he was eating them, but.
No soggy pocket bacon. Got it.
Correct.
Man, I literally wrote that. This is pocket bacon. Not apostrophe. Parentheses, soggy. You find the 2 maps. I think those were the region maps.
So he has the
Was that it?
one region map, the hand-drawn map, and then he also had the Raleigh district map. So he had 3 maps.
Yes. So the maps of the district, like the region and then the Raleigh district, those definitely look worse for wear. They're not in excellent shape, but they're not like falling apart. The hand-drawn one that you had taken from, that you had created in the study is absolutely destroyed.
Okay.
That is just a bleeding inky mess inside of your bag. You do have the 2 scrolls, and I believe you also had fitted in there the little note,
The
Goblin Cant note in your enduring spellbook. So those definitely made it out in good shape.
Okay, cool.
The biography that you have been given from Erdon Leodon, that's in some pretty bad shape, as is the alchemy book.
When you say bad shape, on
I mean,
a scale
like,
of
you
like
better be real careful if you're gonna
destroyed
try
okay.
If you're gonna try to open that thing, you're gonna roll a dexterity. And you're gonna hope for the best that it can be salvaged.
He's gonna not open it, but he's gonna set out to maybe try.
Give me a dexterity sleight of hand.
Even if he's not opening it.
Oh no, I mean if you're just gonna set it down, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, yeah, he's gonna set it out where it's facing the sun. Both of those books, I guess.
Okay. Then you had the wooden stake that you had taken. That's pretty moist. That one is pretty soaked through.
Okay, go set that in the sun.
Those wanted posters are completely destroyed. I'm sure you're not crying. But also the painting that you had for Helena did not survive that. That is a smeared, torn mess. However, the ledger that you found is probably in similar shape to the maps.
Okay,
So you might be able to salvage that.
okay, he's gonna put all of those into the sun. Light.
Okay?
Not, yeah.
Perfect.
Cast it into the sun.
Sit into the sun. Okay. Is anyone else checking their belongings while they're sitting here?
Not yet.
Okay.
Snow is first, caring for the wounded.
Yeah.
Making sure that the clothes are being set out to dry, making sure that no one's going to bleed out or wounds get infected or anything like that. It'll go to each person.
Okay. Is that a specific like medicine roll you're making or potion you're using?
Snow will make a medicine check to see if he can help.
If we do a short rest, can it give us something with like Song of Rest or something? I forget how that works.
Yeah, you guys
outside
will
of
have-
Baldur's Gate.
Yep. Yeah, if we're taking a short rest.
Yeah, let the sun do its magic.
You've got some time.
Yeah, Ste'yn
Let
is
the
like
sun do
peeling
its
off her
thing.
layers and getting her wet stuff off her face and her hair and just setting it out.
You guys are taking this time to just kind of breathe for a moment, let your things kind of air out a bit. I'll just say if you are removing anything the way Beau was from your bags, give me that dex check. If you're leaving it for now, also fine.
Oh, well, do you want me to roll for the map since they were like open parchment? Because I feel like I may have gotten by easy with that if you're going to make everyone roll for just putting things in the sun.
I thought you did roll.
No, I didn't roll because I didn't open up the books.
Oh, I appreciate your honesty. You may roll and you can have inspiration.
Oh, well, thanks. Okay,
You don't
come
have to
on.
use it now.
Wait, so
Have
this is the
inspiration. I appreciate your
dexterity?
honesty. This is the dex sleight of hand.
Okay, sleight of
Just
hand.
for being
Thank
careful.
goodness.
Yes,
Thank goodness.
for being careful with
Gives you
your,
something.
your
Okay,
things.
come on. Oh no. All right. I think
The
so
Beau
right now-
curse strikes again.
So right now it's a 15, so it's not horrible, but I just feel very stressed about this. And then I rolled a 1, so it could be a 16.
Okay. You don't have to mark off your psionic.
Okay.
You're good. You very, in the most tender way you've ever seen Beau behave ever, he removes these.
He caresses
maps.
it, and as he puts it down.
Okay, my baby. I'll steal a friend for you soon. You lay those out in the sun. As you guys are kind of taking this moment, you probably, your short rest, about an hour of breathing and drying off a bit. You do hear the sound of incoming carts. They are coming from, well, I'd imagine, if you know your directions, they're coming from northbound, coming down this path. And you see 2 small carts headed by these nice-looking horses, and you see total 4 gentlemen. They appear to be dressed in nice traveling gear, some leather armor. They look prepared. They have a very prepared look about them. Oh, real quick, as you guys are seeing them, I need Snow and Beau. Can you both please roll me a charisma saving throw? Snow, you may roll with advantage.
Is this before or after the long rest? Or the short rest, excuse me.
I will allow it to be after.
So
Okay, cool. So
anyone
we can
who
get
is
some hit
rolling
points
hit
back.
dice, you
Alright.
can add a d6. Snow will give his Song of Rest.
Okay,
Beautiful.
cool. Short rest.
Yes, we'll call that your short rest while
And
you
we can
were
add a
airing out.
D6. So I'm gonna do.
Sweet.
And that's a 25 charisma save.
Thank you.
Mine wasn't as good, I will admit. For the saving
Excellent.
throw, it is 12.
12. Okay. Yeah. Your rest is briefly interrupted as you hear the sounds of oncoming carts. You see those 2 approaching carts and horses, and you see 4 men, 2 on either cart, coming towards you. They seem to, if you're not hiding anything at all, or hiding at all, they see you in short order. And when the carts get in front of you, they immediately pull them to a stop. You see these 4 men jump down. They seem to be looking at you with concern. One of them steps forward. This kind of, kind of got longer hair, little light goatee situation going on. He approaches you, immediately kind of kneels to if anyone is sitting. Are you all right? Were you hurt? Were you attacked?
Can I ask something real quick to click? So since it's been a short rest, has our clothes and stuff like that basically dried? Like, are we re-clothed up, or would you say that they're still drying?
It's probably
'Cause
still
right now-
drying.
Okay, because
It-
Beau's basically in
Unless
his
you're doing
boxers.
something magical to make them dry faster. Otherwise, clothes take a minute to dry.
Okay, well, Beau is basically in his boxers, I guess, since he went down to...
Well,
All
if Snow set up
Add
a
3 levels of
fire,
concern.
couldn't we have put up our clothes near the fire so they would have dried
Sure.
faster?
I still don't think they're going to be entirely dry after just an hour or so.
An additional, since he is like that, so there is like across like his chest, like starting from like his abdomen expanded out, there is a pretty noticeable like almost burn-like scar that's like spreading out across him. That is something that is noticeable since he is topless. All right, so this guy is
without his top
concerned.
on. Okay.
This guy's concerned.
Yeah, he is definitely concerned as he and his associates are kind of taking you all in and seeing the situation. They appear to be just kind of observing everything as they ask, "Are you all right? Were you attacked?"
We're doing all right now. We had a bit of a scuffle on an adventure, ended up taking a tumble in the river, but thank you for your concern.
Yes, of course, of course. Was it those goblins?
Yes.
We met them briefly, yes. Hello, I'm Snow. What's your name?
Snow, it's a pleasure. My name is Daffy. Over here behind me, I've got my crew. This is Borma. He points to one guy. I've got Gilead here and Arnav. We're adventurers. We were sent out from Hazelford. We'd heard that there was some issues with goblins and creeping closer and closer, stealing, attacking. Seems no one else wanted to handle this business, so we came in and figured, of course, we'll handle it.
Sorry.
And then we come
what do
across
do?
you.
Like,
We're adventurers.
okay,
We do what's
so
needed.
do you have like a name for yourself?
They
Are
look
you
at
like
each other.
the Duff brothers or Joff brothers? Whatever you said your name is.
Daffy. No, although we are close like brothers. You know, in all the time we've been doing this,
The
never
Doppy
asked us
Ducks.
I'll think about it. Before our meeting is done, I'm sure I'll have a name. But no, did you need help? Were you on your way to Hazelford? Do you need assistance? You're not far. We'd be happy to assist you.
What's the catch?
How do you mean? 4 people on the road who are injured and recovering? We just want to make sure you get back all right, of course.
So no fee?
We're already going to be making plenty from the city once we handle this goblin situation and recover anything that they've taken, that they've not destroyed and scummed up. But once we're done with that, it will be paid fine. We don't need anything additional from you or from these fair maidens here.
If you have any healing potions or healing spells, they would be appreciated. Otherwise, I think we're doing all right.
One of them goes immediately into his bag and he pulls out 2 small vials with red liquid inside, kind of holds them up towards Daffy, who nods, takes them. Who's injured? Who needs help?
So Beau's gonna mind link to Snow. I don't think we want to take these people's possessions. Oh, at least not ingest them without reviewing.
It's usually pretty easy to tell if something's a healing potion or not. Usually just a little taste can tell you. But we could also just accept them and use our own healing potions, and I'll identify them later if you're worried about it.
Yeah, we can do it that way. It's a little drop of poison can also kill you.
I mean, there's only one way to find out.
I don't
Snow's
think
gonna walk up and take them if they're offering.
I don't think Ste'yn's practiced enough to raise the dead.
He nods, hands you the potions. And he says, well, at least I know you're well enough to move and walk. That's good to know. Are you sure do you need help? We're happy to... Oh, he turns to the others. We'll do the normal split. And they all nod. He says, 2 of us will take you back to Hazelford, and the other 2, we've got some exploring to do.
Insight check.
Use caution and you're exploring.
Go ahead and roll your insight.
Oh,
We've done this for 9 months.
This
How'd we
is
do?
so bad.
Get him out of the way now.
I mean, it's not it's not horrible, but it's not good. It's a 10 or
Okay.
or 12.
Sure, mark your die. He appears to be genuinely offering help. You don't know anything else about him other than he just seems to be one of those adventurers doing his job. He seems to be on an assignment. And you are here, he can help.
How long would it take us to walk there?
Well, I suppose that depends on how quickly you walk. You're about 5 miles from Hazelford. So a few hours? Or
Well,
we
we
can
could
just take
also
you.
run.
Run 5 miles?
I don't know about you, Beau. I don't think I'm feeling up for running 5 miles today.
Oh, I guess your armor probably would make that difficult.
It's not even dry yet, but
When
you
are you
mentioned
heading
armor,
out?
and he looks out and sees your things by the fire and drying, and he does see this suit of armor. He sees this mithril armor, and he looks back. You 4 are adventurers?
say that.
Okay, then it seems not everyone. Well, were you on your way to Hazelford for this same situation? You said you were attacked by the goblins.
No, it was something different. No, we just have some business to do in the town, not these parts.
We heard there's an Ike A that's opening up.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Yes, we
It
need
looks
some
pretty good.
dressers. Maybe
They have those. You could build
maybe
it
a
yourself.
bed.
They have that too. Highly customizable. I was very impressed. We were heading back. Oh, well, we came across you, so 2 of us will head back with you right now. The other 2 will continue on our mission, on our assignment. So if you're ready to go, we're happy to take you.
Have you already taken care of the goblins then?
No, we were on our way up there now. Unless you already took care of them.
No.
Do you know
No.
what's going on with the goblins?
It seems that potentially, what appears to be going on anyway, is that there are bugbears leading goblins for these attacks on travelers and shipments. It seems some towns were attacked, ransacked, taken over. That's why we ended up with so many refugees back in Hazelford. People were traveling and got attacked, have no means to travel, and well, there are some people who would make a pretty penny on some escort assignments to help these people get their way back home, which is why there are so many still there.
How much of a pretty
Situation. Cute copper.
Oh. Well, what do you guys think?
I mean, I don't think our things are dry yet, so
This
we're
is
not ready to
true.
leave.
They're happy to wait with you while your clothes and things become sufficiently dry to move, but 2 of them will start heading back along the path and off and away, while we'll say Dathi and Arnav will stay behind with you guys.
Viola's been sitting in the same spot, just looking at her journal.
Aw.
Broke my heart with that one.
Snow is going to start going through his things. He does know how to take care of this water damage. Rather, how to take care of things that are water damaged, such as not opening them while they're dripping.
So, Snow, while you're going through your bag, and tell me if I've missed anything on your list, but you had 2 books in there that are looking pretty rough. The tracings that you had taken from the underground temple, those are destroyed. Those did not make it through. You have that deck of cards that you found, that incomplete deck of cards. Those are looking pretty good. You might have assumed they were the magic ones.
The magical ones? Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The ragdoll that you had found, it's pretty soaked through. And it was already pretty moldy and not exactly lovely to begin with, so it's definitely going to start kind of fraying and tearing if you're not very careful with that, but that one's pretty damaged. The little strip of parchment or whatever Beau had on hand that he wrote a little poem in your last Truth or Dare game. That poem unfortunately did not make it and will definitely not see the light of day, so no one will be offended at the very least.
That's fine.
Viola starts
Snow
crying
remembers. He'll never forget what it said.
It
Committed to
wasn't
memory.
nice. Surprisingly, potentially, the journal you picked up from the weird place you just left has no damage whatsoever. That is in perfect shape. And maybe the last, and you're kind of dodging this one, knowing what could potentially happen. There were these stacks of letters that are in very rough shape. The letters, most of those would not be legible. Give me a perception check. The letters and the portrait.
Well, it was on the 16, and then it fell over to the 6, which brings me to 8.
Okay.
It was like the
Yeah.
slowest tip of the die. It was like 16,
No.
8.
8.
That tracks.
You look at the pile of letters that you had from your sister, and
He looks at Ivy's first.
the ones from Ivy are almost entirely destroyed, the portrait included.
Well, he doesn't open them, so he isn't going to know about the portrait, but I will write that
Okay.
down.
That's fair. For your own knowledge, you will see that later. From the stack of letters from Taryn, it looks decidedly flatter with the dampened paper. However, 2 of those letters actually look in very good shape. The last 2 that you received. Ste'yn, did you take a moment yet with your belongings?
Yeah, once they're sort of settled and stuff, she'll just sit by Viola, sort of keeping an eye on her as she goes through her stuff.
You had some playing cards yourself, probably some simple playing cards.
Let's play
Of-
solitaire.
Yeah. Of which fewer than 10 were still salvageable. Ste'yn, you also had a book in there. Okay, that one is also in very, very rough shape. I'd be very careful dealing with it. But for yours, you also note that diary you bought, surprisingly, not bad shape.
Not
So you
bad.
take your you guys take this time to rest, and whenever you're ready to head out, Dathi and Arnav are ready to take you on the remaining carriage back to Hazelford.
Snow will do this with his own things and then also show the others if they don't know. Any paper products, don't open them while they're dripping. Once they are only damp, then you can stand books up on their side with the pages fanned out and then flip them over every hour or two, near the fire, not close to the fire, but near enough so that there's heat, so that they'll be helped to dry by that. And then all you have to do is make sure that they're dry within 72 hours to avoid mold. Once they are dry, everything should be pressed to avoid swelling.
You can have inspiration for that as well.
So he'll do that with the 2 books. The ragdoll, before he actually put it in his pack originally, he would have cleaned with prestidigitation. But he'll set that out to dry, and then he'll also do the same with his letters. Since letters can't really be fanned out, he'll just let them sit out in the sun, and then once they're like only slightly damp, he's also going to press them so that they don't swell or get crinkly.
I will let you take that time to do that as you need to. And Dathi and Arnav are just, they're waiting. They're just sitting down by one of the trees or by the fire, kind of helping you keep that kindled and going and warm, kind of talking amongst themselves and laughing here and there, reminiscing on previous assignments maybe they've gone on together, and just they'll even hand you guys some food. They'll break out some food, and if you guys want, they'll happily share with you guys. Yeah.
Ste'yn will
whatever
go over
you
to
need.
them at one point, and she's going to ask, either of y'all heard, I heard this name in passing, and I want to know if it's common or if there's more to know about it. My name Mosine. Have you ever heard of it before?
They look at each other, look back at you, shrug, shake their head. What is it?
Just some name from someone I was talking to the other day. Thought it might be something important, but if y'all don't know about it and you seem pretty well traveled, must not be that important.
Well, we have traveled quite a bit, it's true. And now
Where
I
do you
guess
hail
we have
from?
something else. We're from Sanaa, so down south.
And what kind of things can you guys do? Adventuring.
You mean what our skill set is, or do you mean?
Yes.
Sure. Pretty skilled with swords, the 2 of us. I don't really know how to answer that question.
And like you don't know.
Skilled
magic,
fighters, trained fighters.
hunting,
He could do a little.
tracking.
He's very good at hunting. He's very good at tracking. He's the tall, dark, silent type. And he is a decent height, whereas Dathi, in our modern tongue, our modern common, we might call him Short King Energy.
What races are they?
They appear to be human. They say, they've been adventuring for years. They actually have taken, while they are skilled in those other things, Dathi kind of gestures back at Arnav. He's actually a phenomenal tracker. Very good at if we're seeking out troublesome beasts, monstrosities, things like that. Very good at this kind of thing. I tend to be more on the escort assignment side, where if someone needs to get where they're going, and they need just a helping hand, a soothing voice, that's more my skill set. My
Well,
forte.
at least no monsters will sneak up on us.
Oh, definitely not.
Ste'yn gives Beau a very
Maybe don't
slight
mention
side-eye
that.
look. You seem very
Uh,
capable. Thank you so much for all your assistance.
Absolutely, and he nods his head low towards you. Anything that we can do to help, and I'm sure that these 2 took very good care to protect 2 lovely ladies. They look very capable as well.
Speaking of which, what does Ste'yn look like?
Is this the most we've ever seen
Well,
of Ste'yn?
Yeah, because the last time we saw her,
Yeah.
we saw she like had all of makeup on, which I imagine ran when we were in the water. Or
Yeah, she
something.
wiped all that off pretty quick too.
So
You
it
should
is
have just
makeup.
left it streaked.
She's
Such
too
a
prideful
look.
for that.
Oh, Beau also needs to fix his eye stuff
Oh,
too.
I know.
I just realized.
Their
Actually,
faces are naked.
his probably would be streaked right
What is
now until he
this?
fixes it. He didn't.
Naked faces.
Snow thinks to himself, like, man, their eyes are so much smaller than I thought.
So Ste'yn is her tall self. Her hair is wet, very shiny though, very metallic-y silver with a few bright gold streaks. It swings down to her hips, slightly below them, because it's so light and heavy. Her skin is extremely pale, very almost just white, basically white to her.
I said pale club. Those two.
Yeah.
Yeah, her eyes are, as y'all should know, just dark, and her clothes are black tunic that goes down to about her knees, tight black pants underneath, simple boots. She probably looks a little bit slimmer, a little bit smaller than you imagine she would. She's not a bulky gal, she's a lanky gal.
Dathi and Arnav would take note. Like they'd probably be looking at her, you know, the eyes lingering probably longer than they ought to, just in fascination before like continuing conversation and etc.
And when she notices that, she'll give some small winks.
Charisma, baby.
Which are we ever gonna know why we made those Christmas saves?
Thanks. Can you go ahead and make another charisma save, please?
Wait,
Both
what?
of you.
Both?
Yes, please. Thank you.
That's not the answer I was looking for. Oh my goodness.
I am so glad I have advantage. It's another 25.
Excellent.
I got a 10.
But yeah, whenever you guys are ready. If there's more you'd like to do here, of course. Whenever you're ready, though, they will assist you however they need to or however you'd like them to, either put your things back or to help you guys into the carriage and to get you guys wherever it is you need to go. But they would happily escort you back to Hazelford, or to Hazelford.
How long does it take to dry out all the paper product?
Are you waiting for it to be perfectly dry?
Yeah, Snow's not gonna put any of that back in his backpack until it's dry.
Okay. You guys might be sitting there for a longer, short rest of sitting down, sharing stories. They'll probably ask where you guys are from.
Snow starts
share
identifying
food.
things.
Wonderful.
Ste'yn will keep the two of them
If it's gonna-
entertained in conversation. That way they don't feel like they're just waiting around for nothing.
Sure. If you're gonna give this to Snow and let him sit there and make sure everything is
I mean, Beau is as concerned
crispy
for
dry.
his things, so he's
Yeah,
following
let's-
every step that Snow does.
Yeah, I love it. Let's give you guys, you'll be sitting there just to be sure, like 4 hours, if you want to be very certain.
Yeah, because I think we started leaving at the beginning of the day, so it would probably be like, what, 2, 3 o'clock when we finally, or maybe not even that late. It'd be like noon or something like that, because if we spent an hour in that place and then another like 4 hours total here, it'd probably be about noon.
Yeah, you guys got up pretty early and we're kind of straight out to it. Yeah, tracks.
Okay. So if we take 3 hours, Snow has time to ritually identify everything.
Definitely. Oh, yeah, that wasn't in question. For sure.
First is the ruby.
The ruby itself is some kind of magic casing. It is able to hold something inside of it, similarly to the blood. Protective. Warding. Let's go with that.
If it is a magic item, then I would know its properties and also how to use it, whether it requires attunement and how many charges it has, if any.
It is not as complex as that. It doesn't require any kind of attunement. It is enchanted to do as it does, and once it is in such a state, it's there until, obviously, I guess it's broken, as it was when Gaworo had broken the other ruby you'd seen. It does look a lot like that one.
All right, the pot that I believe Ste'yn found
Mhm.
Yeah.
or pointed out.
Yes. You have found
Okay, it's like a 20-pound pot, isn't it?
It's 10 pounds.
Oh,
It
10
is 10
pounds.
pounds.
Okay.
It is a
Cauldron.
10-pound. It is a 10-pound pot of awakening.
Ah, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
The clear spongy beads.
Ste'yn, can you please roll me a higher, or tell me high or low?
Hi.
There are no more clear spongy beads.
Aw.
They hatched in the water.
Thing like
They are-
that.
They are tadpoles. Did Beau keep hidden the D9, or is he presenting that for identification?
Did he have any notion that it was magical to be identified?
Just an
I
odd.
think he found it. I
Huh?
don't think Ste'yn did.
No, yeah, I know. I don't know if he picked it up and it did anything, like glue for a moment or something. And if Ste'yn didn't say anything
regular
to him
shaped eye.
about it glowing, then he wouldn't really know to bring it up for identification, I don't think.
Okay. The arrow or arrowhead?
Ah. Yes, yes, yes.
Was it a full arrow or just the head? Or it was a full arrow, but only the head was magical?
I think it's that.
I probably should have just said the whole thing was magical. It is an arrow of slaying. It identifies a very specific or not, type of creature, and it deals additional damage to that creature. A significant amount of additional damage. This one is an arrow of light slaying. Not radiant, light slaying.
Are you sure they aren't bolts?
They're arrows.
Darn.
Do you want it to be a bolt?
Well, I mean, then Viola could use them. Nobody here has a bow, I don't think.
Is that a creature type, like celestial, or?
It is not. It is a creature type like one who lives in the light versus
actually,
one who lives in the dark.
I've got
That is
Beau.
how that arrow appears to be enchanted.
How does it know?
Beau actually
Magic.
How does it
muted.
decide?
Magic.
Let me rephrase. How does it decide?
It's a roulette wheel. As it's going through the air, it's just a roulette going around.
It is a setting-specific homebrewed item. Arrow
Ooh.
slaying is not homebrewed, but an arrow of light slaying is homebrewed.
So when Beau sees the arrows, he's going to put out that he found a short bow on one of the bodies. Because I did actually loot that. So there is a bow. So if anybody wants that for the arrows.
Do I need to
sold
retcon
my
this and make
bow.
it a because it can be a bolt of slaying. Do I need to retcon this and make it a useful bolt of slaying?
I would say it's your call.
I mean, if we have a short bow.
Yeah, we do have a short bow. So
Then I shall
Also,
not.
if we want to use it, we could just buy one.
Also this.
so much
I
investment
just
for
sold
these two.
It's true. Buy a cooler one.
The 2 vials.
Ah, yes.
The midnight blue with gold.
So starting with that sickly neon purple vial is purple worm poison. Midnight blue. This is drow poison.
These are
Very
spicy things.
very unusual. Almost not understood what that even means.
And you said there's gold in it. Is it like gold flecks or like swirls or?
Similarly to how when you agitate healing potion and you kind of see it glitter a bit, but this kind of just consistently looks like it glitters.
We do love glitter.
You love
And
glitter.
the barrel of potion.
Fail a potion.
The barrel of potion.
Is it
so
full?
you-
Does it just have 2 gallons of potion in it?
We got potion for days.
I mean, kind of. Probably should have thought of that one before I let the adventurers take it. Just looking at it closer, it is a clear liquid in this barrel. Doesn't give off any kind of scent or anything. This is a potion of resistance. It appears to be resistant specifically to radiant damage.
Before Snow identifies the playing cards, he's gonna pull one. Just see what happens.
Make sure you
Embracing
open
the
it
chaos.
towards Duffer. Duff it. Catch, stuff it.
Goodness. Okay.
Positionally, how far away is he from everyone?
You tell me.
I mean, Beau is pretty standoffish from people in general, so
That's fair.
Snow would not be next to new friend. He would be at least a little ways off with his back to them. He wouldn't be making it obvious what he's doing or what items he's handling. Just in case there happens to be something in there that it wouldn't be wise for others to see.
And Ste'yn's doing her best to keep them distracted and just sort of chatty and hopefully not realizing just how much time is passing as they're waiting for stuff.
So I guess at this
So-
point, Beau wouldn't know that there was arrows, so he didn't put out the short bow then.
Dang. So you draw a card at random from the deck. You hold in your hand a Queen of Clubs. As you look at the card and make the connection, it is the Queen, and it is drawn. The ink on the card starts to kind of tremble and bleed from each point on the card towards the center, where it reforms into this very simplistic animal shape that in one moment you recognize is something very similar to a lion face, a lion head, And then, not 5 feet in front of you, the once empty air is now glowing, and then in an instant, it is occupied by a large beast. A lion with its silky fur and thick mane is standing there, holds its head up and lets out this enormous roar that certainly takes the other two by surprise as they kind of jump back and they're up against a tree and realize they just smacked their heads against a tree.
They better not pass
As
out.
this
We might need them.
lion
They immediately knock themselves out.
And they both.
out. Let's take their horses. Standing in front of you, kind of beginning to like prowl in this little circle, is a lion. It looks towards you. It just stares.
Hello, you are beautiful. And Snow will just put his hand out, not touching the lion, but just holding his hand up. How to Train Your Dragon vibes.
Love it. It doesn't move like towards you any further. It just kind of watches your hand for a moment, a little poof from its mouth, and then it just kind of leans down on its paws, staring at you.
Snow will try to touch it.
It lets you.
It's solid.
It's solid.
Nice.
There's a lion.
lion!
There's a lion
Heck,
sitting in front of
yes.
you right now.
I have a lion now. If it just lets me, Snow will pet it.
Yeah, it'll sit there and kind of not do anything until you kind of give it direction.
Okay.
Kind of lets out a little yawn.
I'm gonna sit next to my lion and identify the playing cards.
Yeah, you have an incomplete deck of beast summoning playing cards.
Beau, before he started sitting down, and you would have asked about the lion in the room. Snow,
Viola's
what
the
is
The
that?
800-pound lion in the room.
She would have stood up, and then when she saw it was being nice to Snow, she would have like slowly started working her way over because she wants to pet it.
Beau is going further
Be an
the
animal
other
handling check.
direction.
Oh, me give an animal handling check?
It's not
Yes,
gonna be
ma'am.
Beau who's getting far from me.
Beau's backing up.
She would like ask Snow if she can pet it first, and
You can roll with advantage.
Snow will tell the lion, whom he has named James, to allow her to pet him.
I rolled 2 17s in a row, so it's a 19.
Ooh.
Hey!
All right, there you go. James kind of turns his head in the direction of Viola. Lets you pet him.
She'll pet it for a little bit, and then she'll be like, "Do you think it's okay if I give it a hug?"
I think James will allow it.
She like bear hugs the lions.
So where did the lion come from?
It doesn't
Me.
matter. It's
Me.
here now.
Can,
Viola's in heaven.
I can just.
can it
I
go
can
back
just do that now.
into whatever you came and brought it out of? What's its
probably-
permanence?
I don't know. Haven't asked. Actually, if he's identified it now, he'll know that the spell lasts for up to an hour. An hour.
I'd be lying if I didn't say that was cool.
Not now, Ste'yn.
James lets out a small growl.
James doesn't appreciate the puns.
Guess it's not as possum as I thought.
Oh.
Alright, well, is the lion fine for accompanying us on this? He's asking Duffet.
Who?
I don't know his name, Mr.
Doffy.
Doffy. Well, he says Duffet. Can the lion come with us? Hello?
No? Oh, I'm sorry. Was that an actual question?
Yes.
Oh. Doffy and Arnav are kind of watching the lion that has appeared. Arnav seems a lot less kind of perturbed, and Doffy is slowly settling into the fact that a lion just appeared, and he says, well, it's not going to fit on the cart, but if that's all right with you, then it's all right by us. I don't know how well the town will take to it.
It'll be
Cool.
fine. And it doesn't need to be on the cart. It can keep up just fine.
Just as you're saying, yeah, it'll be fine, the horse seems to get a scent of, like, something going on, sees this lion, and is instantly spooked. And Doffy and Arnav have to go and calm this horse, to which Doffy says, so I think it's okay. I don't know if our steed is quite the same, has quite the same sentiment.
I'm sure he'll warm up to it.
Sounds like a you problem.
We're only offering help. That's up to you.
Alright, I think that's all of the items that I had listed.
And everything's dried now.
Yeah, we'll say everything's dry by now. And you're offered some more lunch, like some lunch, and there you go.
On the trip back, Snow will ride the lion.
Wait, so what happens after an hour? Does it just like disappear?
Yeah, it'll just fade away after an hour.
Snow just like
He was just too excited.
stop the cart. We gotta get Snow.
Snow, give me a perception check.
As it starts blinking in and out of existence.
That's one of the best perception checks I've ever made. That's a 14.
I'll still say that's good enough to know that you can kind of monitor the time as you guys travel, that you'll know to get off of James before he disappears.
He'll also, if Viola would like to, she can also ride.
If he offers, Viola is most definitely going to ride along.
I love everything about this. Wonderful, fantastic. All right, yeah, James is he's a big lion. He can handle it. He handled it like a champ, but it's still some amount of weight. It's not the same though, because Viola's not wearing her super heavy armor.
Yeah, we can keep all of our stuff in the cart.
Yeah, perfect. Does that mean everyone good to go then? And
Yeah.
you've begun travel?
Yeah, because
Yeah, Ste'yn's gonna put back on her armor, get everything back.
Yay, Beau's armor class went up 1 whole point. I just realized how like unhelpful this leather armor is. It's a total of 1 point.
You should get some new armor.
Get some studded leather at least.
Yeah, man. You guys gather all your things. Whatever you're keeping in the cart is in the cart. Whoever's riding in the cart, great. Snow and Viola are riding on James for the first probably like 50 minutes of your travel back. And you guys make your way north along the path that, if you were looking at said map, you would know is a pretty direct path to Hazelford. It does take you still just a couple hours. You guys are going at a relatively steady pace. On that trip, I would like Snow and Beau to please roll for me.
How many
Charisma
hours has
saving
it
throw.
been since the compound, since the battle?
At this point,
I think we were
What,
saying
like,
it was like noon.
5. Yeah, like if before you left, it had been about,
Okay.
I don't know, like 4 hours. You were sitting there for 3 or 4 hours. It'll take you another couple hours. So looking at 5 or 6 hours.
So it's probably like 3 upon arrival, or 2 or 3
Yeah,
between that.
probably about 2.
I got a
Yeah, between 2 and 3.
16.
I finally rolled almost as low as can be rolled for me.
Oh no!
Actually, without crit failing, I did roll as low as I can. An 8.
An 8? Okay, cool. Noted. You guys are approaching. You see the town coming into view. It's a nicely sized town. You guys recall the last time you had been there. Decent sized town, full of activity, motion, movement. It actually seems even more bustling than even the last time you were here. And as you get closer to the town proper, there are a few watchmen who are standing guard along the main path, who immediately greet you. They speak to Dathi and Arnav, who immediately explain that these 4 are fine. They are adventurers themselves who came across those goblins. They survived. Our other 2 are out there, and we'll make sure, we handle that. But let's get these guys inside. And the watchmen seem quite relieved. Once you guys are inside of the city or the town proper, Dathi and Arnav will get the horse and cart situation handled. They'll thank you for being their traveling companions. They are glad that you are safe and well, and otherwise they'll let you be on your way. They're probably actually gonna head back towards their own companions back out of the town. But you guys have finally arrived in the town of Hazelford. Congratulations, you made it. The town, it's a very like chipper feeling town, and you can see why it seems especially bustling when you see people, even just right towards the entrance. People are starting to hang these lovely kind of cool toned, or I guess warm toned banners and streamers. You can see little pop-up mercantile fronts going up with fun banners, really eye-catching decorations, and it all seems to be as pre-celebrations or preparations for the Harvest Lamps Festival.
Oh, it's all the way out here,
When
too?
Ste'yn sees that,
Oh yeah.
she's
It's
gonna
all-
ask someone what day it is. She wants to know if they lost any days due
Sure.
to the.
This is actually them packing up
world.
the Harvest Lamps Festival.
It's actually done. No, if you're from, well, yeah, mainly the like Yerusha and Juventus for sure. It's a commonly celebrated festival leading into
okay.
the next season. You stop one person, a kindly looking lady who's kind of watching as a gentleman is hammering away at some sand, and she tells you it is, if I did my own math correctly, it should be the 19th day of Midia?
Okay. So did we lose time?
No.
What was it before?
Okay.
It should be that you should be arriving, I believe, on the 19th, and if we have to fix
Great.
that later because it's actually the 18th, I'll let you know. But it should
Sounds
be the
good.
19th.
What day of the week is it?
I believe it's 7th, which would be
Saturday.
Saturday.
Okay. It's 19th, 7th. It's 19th on the 7th.
19th, 7th day. I know, my world building is superb. Thank you for
When were those
pointing it out.
Aztecs come in?
Where's that
Oh.
Thor god?
Oh wait, it was the Mayan
Viola-
calendar, isn't it?
Something like that.
Viola's keeping an eye out for any like news boards where like certain bulletins or things would be posted.
Haunted posters.
No, there's definitely job boards. And you know that there's a pretty straightforward path that would lead you back towards that tavern you had gone to before, and you know for sure there's job boards in there, or there's a job board in there. Yeah, there's definitely job boards. You pass by one if you want to take a peek at it. Give me a perception check, whoever wants to look.
If there's a wanted
Sure.
poster
20?
all the way out here.
think
Beau's not gonna
why.
see it because he's got a 5.
You have never rolled well for this. Literally never.
Viola didn't either up until recently.
It's a 23.
And Ste'yn has always rolled well for the job board. What did Viola roll?
Dirty 20.
Viola and Ste'yn, you don't see wanted posters. That'd be silly. Why would there be a wanted poster? But you do see a lot of kind of almost piled on top of each other, similar to what Daffy had said, these escort assignments, people requesting help. With the 20 and above, one thing you note about the escort assignments is that where the payment was is consistently kind of crossed out and then raised, crossed out, raised, like a desperation, like somebody please, like we're trying to get where we're going, we need help and we're scared. You also note that there are a number of missing persons notes as well. You see 5 of them just on this board alone. One is for a woman named Daisy Mansville. The description speaks of a performer in a small local troupe. There's one for someone named JJ Leewell. He appears to be some kind of prominent tutor. There's one, his name is Baron Meyer. It talks about him. He often runs off. He can't hold a job. He gets in dangerous crowds, so please be careful. There's another one asking about a newlywed couple. They had just recently opened a storefront after their wedding last year. And the 5th one is describing a watchman. It looks like his accolades are just phenomenal. This list of achievements, and it sounded like he was actually about to be hired in Dranfeld before he went missing.
Is this like normal to see this many missing people posters or no?
Give me an intelligence history check.
It's a 5.
You're not really sure of this area. This is not where you're from. You don't know the politics well. Or the culture.
Is there a physical description of the Baron Meyer guy who runs off, can't hold a job, gets in dangerous crowds?
Yes, there's a little physical, as best as they can, description of all of these people. That one does.
Does
have
it
one as well.
match the bandit leader that we found in
Back in
the temple?
Bratimino?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does appear to. Someone picked up this note. A very similar note, I believe, of you guys.
Canyon told us about it. And said
yeah.
the description matched this guy. I don't think we actually had the note itself, but Canyon told us
Gotcha.
about it.
That's right.
Oh, Canyon.
All right. Well, do we want to actually Canyon. start doing things here?
The town is The town is at your disposal. In fact,
Ste'yn will take the notice of Baron Meyer and make a note to try and probably inform some authority person that we know who the guy is and what he's been up to.
Maybe we can collect the bounty.
Well, we don't have him with us, but we could try.
Well, a member of the Watch might be able to vouch for us. And he pulls out one of the stolen guard watch or watch things that he has.
Oh, Beau.
But should we begin doing things? I have to go drop off what remains, which is really just this ledger.
Do you want us to come with you?
Sure.
Snow and Beau, would you mind giving me a charisma saving throw?
Can't we just do this?
You did it
I
halfway
would
through the
love
journey.
to. That is a 19.
That is a 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
The elves are doing it.
Yeah, right? All right.
Where are we off to?
So you'd probably be looking for a similar caravan. Like, you know, she has these, I don't want to call them wagons, because these are not like just like open air wagons. She has like the nice closed full ones at her perusal. And if she were here waiting for you, you'd be on the lookout for one of those. The town does have kind of a more open like square, a mercantile and things like that take place there, which you might imagine would be a place to look if you were trying to find her. You'd be looking for one of her caravans.
So where am I
You guys
looking? And that's what he's looking
Yeah,
for.
no, if you guys, yes. So if you're looking about the town for one of these notable The Silver Cat caravans, yeah. You know what? Give me a perception check. Let's see how easily you can find where you're going.
Are all
That
of us doing
is-
it?
6.
Good.
Ooh, I beat that 6 with a 9.
9.
Strong 9.
Actually, wait a minute.
Viola
I might be
got
right.
a 10. Did you just
Okay,
say 30?
I could get up to a 14. Actually, maybe I don't need to worry about that.
What is happening? Okay.
Ste'yn sees everything.
Yeah, that'll be up to you. If you want to succeed the role, you'll need to
I mean, he
use your psionic
probably
die.
wouldn't have counted on somebody else for it, so I will mark it down. I got one more slot left, I think.
Okay. You get a little turned around. Ste'yn is going, you guys are walking through town, you're seeing the residential areas, you see the direction where the tavern would be, but further down you see where it's much more mercantile. You can see it's a lot more people around this town square, a lot of setting up just like further out towards the entrance of the town. And going around this, I'll say with the 30, you also spot where the Walmart is. You can do with that as you will. But in that kind of market square area, along one side, you do see this large caravan wagon, rounded, harped, looking very nice, and it has the iconic The Silver Cat lettering in common on the side there with that silver emblem of a cat, of a feline-like face. The door to it is open. There's kind of a stairway leading down to this opened door with a little drape in front of the door there, but you do spot it.
He's gonna approach and look for somebody that's near it or in it.
Yeah, you head on up. It's over the top, even just its simple little stairwell. Like, you don't need all that, but it has the goes up and then turns and then goes up to the door. And as soon as you pull the curtain aside, you can see inside of this contained area, this contained wagon. Along one wall, there's just the two long walls. Along one wall, you see a beautiful looking antique knickknacks. Another side has various items, some shields, weapons, clothing, jewelry, types of things, instruments. And you see a young girl inside. She has dark skin, big looping brown hair. She's wearing this dress, this kind of golden threaded dress with a rope tie belt in the middle. And as soon as you push the curtain aside to come in, she turns, sees you and smiles, and she does this beautiful, deep curtsy to the four of you. She doesn't say a word, she just deeply
What race
curtsies.
is she?
I would say you can see her skin, just her features in general. She's young, but her features in general just give this kind of elevated perfection-ish about them that's very elven. And she also, you can see on her skin what of it is exposed, because the sleeves are very long, the dress goes down to these boots she's wearing underneath, she has gloves on her hands, and the collar of her dress comes up very high. But what you can see of her skin seems to have this kind of glitter about it, sitting on it. So you might assume she was elven.
Hello,
How old does she look?
Oh,
He looks quite young, like young child, not like toddler. Think elementary school years.
hello. I have something to drop off.
She looks at you, Beau. She doesn't say anything. She motions at one of the tables. A couple of these fine-looking daggers on the table, and she just kind of motions to it as if offering if you wanted to look at it.
Okay, he'll go over and look at it.
Yeah, you see a couple of nice-looking, maybe not perfect for actually using, but just some nice-looking daggers. And she kind of is looking at you back and forth.
What do you want me to do?
She doesn't respond immediately.
Can you speak, child?
Yeah, I'm told she's a
Tell your
child.
She clearly like kind of
All right,
cringes
all
back
right.
and
I am sorry. Can
Snow
you
goes
be
over to
a
her.
dear and tell me what you want me to do? Please.
doesn't speak. Everyone give me an insight check.
It's 12 for Beau.
21.
Could Snow use his item to give himself advantage? Or has the time ended?
How long does that go
8
for?
hours.
You'd still be in time. Yeah.
That is a 17.
So it's very clear that she looked scared when Beau got a little frustrated. Ste'yn and Snow, as you're watching her kind of look around and look back at him, she doesn't appear to understand what he's saying.
Snow goes over to her, kneels down, and in Elvish, "Hello, I'm Snow. What's your name, dear?"
And you see this recognition kind of strike her. She doesn't respond, but she just kind of nods in your direction.
He's
Viola
going
will
to,
also say hi and introduce herself in Elvish.
kneeling in front of her, he's going to conjure a flower using his staff, but he's going to do the trick to make it look like he's pulling it out of her ear or from behind her ear. And it's just a daisy that he offers to her.
She takes it, she kind of smells it and tucks it right at like the collar of her dress. And she smiles. Does he still have his pan flute as he was wearing before, like around his neck? She puts her hand to it and then moves over to one of the other tables, and just like she had gestured with Beau, she gestures at a few very antique-y looking instruments.
She trying to sell us things.
Yes. Snow will follow her over there and look at it with interest before looking back at her and saying in Elvish again, "We have some items that were requested for us to drop off. Is your parent or guardian around? Is there someone who runs the shop, or is it just you?"
Give me a persuasion.
That is 23.
She looks back at you and she nods and she gives another very, very deep and it's deep and a well-trained curtsy. It's like a flawless curtsy. And she raises herself back up in this elegance. And then she zips towards the back of this little wagon. There's another red drape, another red curtain, and just quickly disappears behind it. You guys are standing alone for just a minute or two.
There's no need to get angry at her, Beau. She didn't understand you.
Okay, well, I didn't realize she wasn't educated.
Not speaking the same language as you doesn't mean you're not educated.
Well, she's not educated the way I was at her age.
And?
What kind of instruments were there?
I'm just saying I wasn't expecting it.
Does Beau's lack of patience with children surprise you?
No, but it is something that should be worked on. Children shouldn't be treated like that.
Snow, you see there's a lyre that's on the table, and you also see right below it a drum with these beautiful carvings kind of going up in these streaks, these lines along the body of it. It's mainly kind of a tan, but parts of it are in this like lovely kind of golden color where you actually would beat the drum. And shortly after this bit of moment to yourselves, you see the little girl come back around, and following shortly behind her is a much taller, assuredly adult, tabaxi female who moves the curtain aside, comes out with this thin flourish, and then puts the curtain back in place as she looks across the four of you. My, I have visitors and I love it. Welcome, hello, my name is Helena Fresca. How can I help you today? Oh, look who's here.
Yes,
Do
I thought you were
this
up
pleasure?
north.
She looks at you for a moment, Beau. Looks at the others. Looks back at you. I got what I needed. Short trip. Blew my way back. I see you made it finally at last.
Yes, how much of the things exactly did you want back? Or how much were you expecting back?
Oh, sweetheart. If I say all, I'm sure that means all.
Well, there were some difficulties.
Did I know you were going to say that?
I have this. He pulls out the one thing that's made, that's the ledger.
Oh, really? You do have something. Oh, see, I knew I could count on you regardless. So everyone, well, first things first, let's not be rude. Has everyone had a chance to enjoy my wares? It's not much for now. There will definitely be more when we have the festival. We love festivals. But make sure you have a chance to look at everything, anything your heart desires, and little Abeni here will make sure that you get exactly what you need. She doesn't speak a lick, poor thing. So sweet. Love her to death. As if she were my own. Very sweet. But she's more than capable of helping you if there's anything you desire. Sorry, I hate to deal with business before we've had time to enjoy ourselves. You know how it is, Beau.
Yes.
So everyone's had a chance to look at what they needed, or did you?
They're
you
very
still need
fine
time?
wares, thank you.
Thank you. You keep such fine company. You must have just been distracted with these lovely friends of yours, and that's what happened, that we weren't able to bring everything back, I'm sure.
Hello. I'm
Hello.
Snow.
Just a blank
No,
look on
I'm
his
Helena.
face.
And she holds out this paw-like hand to you.
Is she holding it this way or to shake?
It's almost ambiguous as she's approaching, as if expecting you to do the right thing.
He will kiss the back of her hand with a dramatic flourish of his own cape.
Oh my, I don't deserve it! And she takes her paw back. And you, my sweet... Oh, I was going to say sweet little thing, but not at all! She's looking at you, Ste'yn.
Ste'yn alive. Pleasure to meet you.
That is a phenomenal name. It sounds strong. You look strong. I love it. I'm Helena.
It suits me.
Clearly. Bet you've been keeping these others in check. Keeping them safe, haven't you? Or was it you, my dear? And she turns to you, Viola.
Well, I like to think I play a part in it, but my name's Viola.
Speak strong, speak confidently, Viola. Of course you played a part in it. Look at you. Beautiful, strong, powerful. It just emanates off of you. I can feel it.
Thank you.
Of course. So, are we discussing this all together?
No.
Oh, so you wanted to see what's in the other stock. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Well, the three of you, I think I have exactly what you need. And she, and with Abeni, the elven girl, kind of right at her tail, following these like fluttering little steps, she goes, Ste'yn, if you'll allow her. She's not going to shove you or anything, but she kind of guides you in a direction towards some armor plate pieces. Most is still like very antique-y looking, but at least one or two bits and pieces look like they are actually proper standard armor. Viola, she guides you over towards first some swords of lovely, again, antique-y quality, but then she also points in another direction across where there are some fine clothing, and she looks at Snow, who, as she's pointing to the fine clothing, points at him and like indicates he should come this way as she shows another area of the fine clothing, but also indicates back towards those instruments that Abeni had shown you towards. If you need a single thing, even just one, anything at all, please make sure that my sweet little one here knows, and she will get you all taken care of. Whereas for you, Beau, you come with me. I have exactly what you need. Come along. And she heads towards the curtain. She holds it. She doesn't move it, but she holds it, waits for you to approach, Beau.
Before Viola was pulled away from Beau, she kind of nudged him and like nodded her head towards Helena and then like gave him a knowing look before she kept going.
She waits for you to approach before she moves the curtain.
Yeah, you go through.
She moves it up just a bit, just enough for you to walk through, before she gives a sweeping bow to the other three, does that little spin again and pulls the curtain back in place. And it just kind of wavers there for a moment. With Abeni on your side, she actually, as the curtain slowly kind of settles, you see her start clapping, as if it were like a whole performance. On the other side of this curtain, Beau, the moment you walk through, there shouldn't be very much more to this wagon. It's spacious, still a wagon. And as you walk through, you're standing in this very large study almost that stretches far. Yes, it's bigger on the inside. There are a few columns reaching to the high ceiling. On the far end, there's a desk. And along the wall, there are some more of these kind of antique statues or a bookshelf here and there with various items on it. You see her kind of touch the curtain for a moment, and then she guides you to have a seat by the desk. It's like, yes, I think we have much to discuss, don't we?
Yes. So, what's the deal with this ledger?
That's what you're interested in?
Well,
I love it. So sweet, so simple. It's a ledger.
Was that important?
Well, yes, it's mine. It belongs to my caravan company. Of course it's important.
Okay.
Now,
what?
where's the rest of it? What happened? Tell me.
Tell her everything about the damaged cart, the fight with the chickens, and then bringing what he was able to get together back, the dimension that they went into.
She's at this point sat behind this beautiful oaken desk in this lavish little throne-y looking chair. She's now leaning forward and kind of tapping along her lips. So she's pondering this. I see. So...
Speaking of, would you be interested in buying these? And he throws out the two golden things.
Golden thing? What golden
Remember
thing?
he cut it off of the snake lady?
Oh!
My
That's
gosh.
fair. Yeah, she looks at it, kind of like weighs it a bit, weighs the other in her hand. Oh, maybe. Interesting. Are these just... what are they? It feels solid.
I cut them off of that yuan tea.
Oh, these are directly from it. Fascinating. I love it. That, maybe, potentially. But she puts them down on the desk, but it's like by her elbow. Before that, so the wagon of mine that you came across, was it destroyed that you couldn't take everything back? Were the items themselves destroyed? Or you just didn't bring them back?
Well, I already told you a decent amount of detail. I think you owe me some details of your own.
But Beau, that's not how that works. We made an arrangement.
Okay.
Right?
They were mostly damaged. The few things that I had are gone now. When we got jumped.
Dastardly.
You know, I doubled back for that safe. I could have gotten shot.
It's true. But, and these sighs just seem to be like very exaggerated in her very Helena way. She eyes you and she thinks about it. What bit of information do you think is a fair trade for an incomplete trade?
All right, well, the one curiosity I would have, to be honest, benefits you as well, so I'm not gonna bother asking about that one, because to truly benefit you, you would just tell me. So, tell me about what you found in Fendella.
She picks up the Yuanti's little hair nib things. Let me keep these.
Fine.
Oh, lovely! I have new toys!
I
And
was
she puts
getting
them aside.
shafted.
I will say, though, if those items aren't destroyed and you can retrieve them, I would very much appreciate that. And then I can make sure you get all of the information that I've gathered. It has been a while since we've talked, hasn't it? Beau? Why
Yes.
Beau?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, but I'm ever so curious.
That wasn't part of
fine.
your sales pitch.
Oh, shoot. I should have done one and then the other. You're absolutely right. When are you going to just join me one day? Have you gotten all of that under control?
No. Oh, but I
Shame.
did get verification that person that I mentioned interested in work, he will take the job. But after the unveiling tour.
Ooh, lovely. Oh, that's going to be so much fun. Can you imagine the princess just strutting about here in Yerusha? They think we're so beneath them, but they're going to have their very princess walking on our land. So excited. It's going to be so fun.
Yes.
Oh, right. Things, stuff. All right. I suppose it's fair. I'll tell you half of what I know. And what I'll say is, if you can get my things back, because they are a little bit important to me, I'll gladly share the other half.
But
let's start with
I thought
Vendela.
those golden things are covering that half.
What other half? She slides them off the table and they're sitting on the chair behind her now. She's standing.
What if I throw in this fancy die? He pulls out the 9-sided die.
A 9-sided die? That's
Yes.
weird.
For the other half of the information.
Let's start with the first half, shall we? Vendela, right? Well, here's what I was able to find. I think this first bit is probably the most obvious, as his name certainly gets around, right? So, as I said, I didn't see any tombstones, so that's good, right? Lovely. What I did hear is that the very wise Erdan is, in fact, home right now. Yay! Good to know. He's actually, speaking of the unveiling tour, I think you'll find this fascinating. He's actually, I hear, been requested to join in this long envoy that will be accompanying the princess. Ooh, isn't that spicy and worth the rest of my goods? It appears that all of that whole situation might in fact be Lord Roland's doing also well, because he seems to be doing quite well for himself, in fact. A lot of assisting in some ways with relations between Ophidia and Yerusha. So, all very well timed. We love to see it. My curiosity here, and I'll give this one to you for free. Now, why do you suppose Liv feels like it's the right time to parade the princess about Yerusha? Oh, why now?
You think I'll have an answer for that?
I just like to leave you with gifts. You see how gracious I am? I'm giving you something to think about.
Okay.
I knew
So
you'd love it.
that's hardly half. There's 6 of them. You told me about 2.
I didn't finish. Let me finish, you impatient little boy. I love you. I do hope you get all that situation under control, because I would love to have you involved in our caravan. Now, the other fun bit of information, a little more rough, maybe you'll appreciate this. So, the Ophidian military, sound familiar? They appear to be, at least in section, mobilizing on the move. Ooh, what could that be about? Now, they don't appear to have the straps like it's for war, so don't get overly excited. That'd be... Could you imagine Ophidia going to war? But no. It looks a lot more like... You recall what the Purgers looked like as they were heading out. That kind of reconnaissance look about them. It's a lot more like that. Now, why do I share this? It appears that old Uranus is doing well for himself too. And he seems to be in charge of one of these little squadrons. How lovely! Isn't that nice? You should send a card.
Yes. I'll be sure to.
we do have some up front if you'd like to buy one on your way out. Yeah?
Okay, and what about the
Fine.
rest?
All right. So who've we got? We've got, oh, Lady Austin. Now she's been a busy little bullywug, so she was probably the easiest one to spot, to be perfectly honest. So she's made herself quite comfortable in Marin's Eve, mind you, rather than Fendella. So I actually passed by her on my way up. So it was very nice to see. She seems to be, well, like I said, quite comfortable. Got herself situated there. You should also send her a card.
Does she have a shop?
Yes! So you didn't even need that from me. But you got it anyway.
Well, technically I got it off of you, and he points at the ledger.
And she'll pick up the ledger and she'll thumb through it. Oh, we did go see her. How did you get that? Must be my old age. And she slaps it closed and puts it on the table. But yeah, she's running her shop and doing well. Good for her. Oh, yes. So, the littlest of the ladies, she is also not home at the moment. She appears... Now, she was a little tricky to find. I don't know why, since I didn't just walk up and ask. Neither did my boys, but she appears to be traveling, so maybe she's also moving about in honor of the festivities coming around soon. But she's traveling about. Last I saw, or when I was given this information, she was somewhere... Where was it? I think it was further north. I think she had made it probably close to Near. So I can't tell if perhaps she was on her way to Fall Watch, or maybe she was on her way to Dranfeld or Ironhaven. I'm not sure, but we saw her on the road last. Just further north of here.
Lishana.
Well, about that. So she appears to be unaccounted for, even with a bit more snooping than you are potentially owed. I couldn't turn anything up. And it seems that if the Leodons actually want something unknown about them, then they get it. Otherwise, very flamboyant family. But,
So just nothing.
I'm sorry. Nothing came up. Couldn't find her.
So you said there's more information, though. You said this is only half.
Well, yes. I suppose there's also what you initially asked me to keep an eye out for you.
Oh, yes.
This was the we're friends.
Well, I'm
And then
assuming
there's-
you'll tell me the other one if it comes up. For your best interest.
Yes. For our best interest.
Yes. I have 2 requests.
Mhm.
One, do you know anything about... What?
No, go on, one.
Okay. Do you know anything about Verowitz? Have you heard of that family?
Yes, of course.
Do you know anything about the, I don't know, mother of the house?
What about her?
Like, how she might be? Or do you have any methods of contacting her?
Tell me something first. Are you asking me this as a deal? Or are you asking me this as a friend?
Well, technically I'm asking it for a friend.
Oh, does your friend want to make a deal with me?
Maybe. Beau, so wait, is the mind link completely gone at this point that you made? From 6, yeah, it would be. Because you made a...
6 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
It was 6 hours from the beginning of the first hour when you were in that other place.
She may be willing to make a deal, but I guess you would have to ask her in a way. But it would
In a
also,
way.
It would also have to be discreet, which I
I
know
love
you know how
discretion.
to do.
I love it.
Okay.
All
and
right.
then the other thing was more so a curiosity on my end. There's a man that you were delivering things in Ustrom. What do you know about them?
Ustrom.
He's pointing at the ledger.
Oh, yes. And she picks it up again. Let's see. A alive? This one in Newstrom?
Yes.
Alive? Like your friend out there?
That's a coincidence. Okay, fine. Fine.
No, come now.
Force of habit.
We shouldn't keep secrets between friends. Now, is this someone else who would like to join in our little dealings?
I don't know.
Because there's just so much to learn.
I don't know if she actually wants to know about that. That was more so me curious.
Your curiosity. Oh. Interesting. Let's see. Well, what I can say is that he is a minor, and he is a diligent one. I otherwise rather plain. We do business with all sorts, you know. So we go through popular areas like Eustrom, Zaylee, that whole region, and handle people's goods. I don't think there's anything that particularly stands out about him.
Okay, and then going back to this dice, do you not want to trade anything with us? I mean, look at its shape.
Yes, such a strange shape. Woo! I would very much like, at the very, very least, remember when you said that you were at the wagon and you found that big barrel and you left it there? Yeah, that one. Could you do me a favor and retrieve that for me?
Well, I also cut a hole in that one.
What, along the whole thing and it all drained out? It was a decent-sized barrel, if I recall.
Okay, well, maybe not like that, but I mean, the air there wasn't exactly good for it.
Ah, things I carry are top quality. I'm sure it can handle a little misty musty.
Have you ever been in the misty and musty?
I try not to make a habit of it, certainly. But who knows what you could find in there. You get that back for me, and I will make sure I give you everything that I picked up in the last
What's so important
7
about
months.
it?
It's mine.
Alright, I'll see what I can do, but I mean, there is things that we have to do. Bear in mind, we do have a little bit of a schedule. Withholding information on that will only lead people to die. Less people, less customers, remember.
I do like my customers. Now, I'll give you this one for free as well. Perhaps. If I'm not worried, you shouldn't be worried.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
You definitely worry far too much. Listen, if I haven't told you that there's been any kind of movement, then I haven't seen any kind of movement. Which I suppose in and of itself is a little bit odd.
Yes.
It's about that time, isn't it?
That's why I said we're on a time limit.
Listen, I was promised, and I'll admit, I was promised, based on what you told me, that there would be some fun, bleak, exciting things in the works. And I have even sent 2 my boys who go anywhere within 100 miles of any of the bands. And we haven't heard anything. So, I'll admit I'm a little disappointed. Beau, I will never get used to that.
Let me confirm if somebody wants to make a deal with you.
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll be right back.
And she'll actually follow you up to the curtain, and she'll open it for you. If you're going back through.
Yeah.
She'll open it for, she stays on this side. As soon as you're through, she closes it behind you.
While Beau and Helena were talking, Ste'yn cast Detect Magic to see if there's anything magical in the wares.
Sure. There's definitely a number of them have fun little enchantments on them. Nothing that seems to immediately give any kind of pause of oh, this seems very, very dangerous. It all seems very light. But it's a 30-foot range, right?
Mm-hmm.
This part of the caravan doesn't reach 30 feet. The whole thing itself wouldn't be a full 30 feet.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say. I hope that makes sense. But your magic goes smack up to the wall where you detect an enchantment on that curtain. It's definitely, let's see, it's in view. So you would see there's abjuration magic along that wall. And you also get, oh, that's necromancy. Interesting. It's not like involving the undead. It's a matter of, I guess, I don't know why they determined this. I'd have to read it more carefully, but you're not told what spell it is. You're just told school.
No,
magic.
but I can tell Snow that there's something magic and he can identify the spell.
Sure.
We tag team it.
You can if you wanna do that. Is that the plan? You're gonna ritually cast identify?
What is it?
The curtain?
No, what's the
she's-
object that is?
Okay, it's on the curtain.
Oh, the curtain. Yes.
The
Okay.
curtain has necromancy. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, he'll go over to the curtain and identify.
It's
Sure.
another weird wall.
Yeah, it appears to be some kind of
I
like,
love weird walls.
Snow, situation's changed. Can you actually make your way up here? Look for smoke.
Wait, why? I found an interesting wall. I'm very
We
excited
can deal
to learn
with your
about this
walls
wall.
later. Can you come up here? This child is doing nothing for guarding.
she's just watching you guys, waiting for someone to talk to her in Elvish again. Yeah,
While
there's
Snow's identifying, Ste'yn will look down at her and she's going to see. She doesn't really fund spells or things. That's not her thing. But she will make
Speak
a
want
little
to
with
see my
that.
baby sister's skull. Snow, it's a type of deafness that is
Silence.
emanating from the curtain. Yeah, just kidding. It's illusion magic. Yay! It's silence.
The
Were
curtain
you
is
guys doing anything?
silence.
Oh, that's a fun spell.
That makes
It's
sense.
a good one.
Makes sense. Are any of the clothes magical?
Are any of the clothes magical?
High or low, Snow?
Hi,
I'm sorry, no.
rats.
But they are splendid. There's this one hat with a plume like 2 feet long, dude.
Is there a price tag on it?
Yeah, this hat is like 16 gold for this beautiful plume, and it's got the like it's very piratey feel with the like. It's not the tri-corner, but it's like a musketeer hat.
Snow's just gonna like do his minor illusion butterflies and stuff to entertain a Benny.
She loves it. She is incredibly entertained. She kind of wants to like catch the butterflies, and she's having a great time. Has not said a single word or made a single utterance this entire time. After some time, Beau pops back out from around the curtain, and Helena is still on the other side. She closes it behind you. So, like, there's never an instance of seeing beyond it.
Viola, do you want to make a deal with Helena
For what?
for your mom?
I mean, she's not gonna ask me to like sell my soul, right?
No. She might ask you
Yeah.
to run around retrieving things.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, she might be more giving to you anyway. So,
Be careful.
I mean, it's been 5 years. Like, I have to know.
well, do you all want to come back to the behind the curtain?
Sure.
Alright, so Beau would just open up the curtain for them all.
So you feel resistance as you go to open the curtain, and then Helena pops her head around.
Can
What
we
have
come in?
decided? Everyone?
Yes.
Do we all have something we want?
Well, maybe the other ones will.
And her eyes linger on you again for a moment, Beau, and then she looks back at the others. Oh, well, all right. And she closes the curtain again, and then she'll pull it aside for you all. And you can now see this very long, much too far for it to be the same on the outside, study-looking area, and she ushers you in. Come, 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 come. No time to dally. Not when there's deals to be made. And then she'll close and she'll pick back out. Benny, if anyone else comes, you know what to do. And she'd like wink, and then she closes the curtain again. In this time,
Does she say that too?
what?
What language does she use when she speaks to a Benny?
Common.
Oh, she can understand common?
You don't know. She did not appear to understand common when you spoke to her earlier. And she closes the curtain. She ushers you all towards the desk. There have now appeared 3 more chairs, so everyone has a place to sit. And she goes back to her kind of large throne-ish looking chair and sits, arms placed, leg crossed. So there's something you want, some information you need, something we can help each other with? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes.
Delicious.
Is anything on Helena lighting up with detect magic?
Oh yeah, you do still have that. Well, this whole space, for sure, is just... She, technically, no.
Alright.
As she looks at you. So who are we helping today? Who is joining this lovely little circle of trust?
That would be me, I believe.
Viola!
So
What can Helena do for you?
my friend Beau here told me you might be able to get me some information on some people. Maybe you could even get me the chance to communicate with these people in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
Marcella or Thomas Verwitz.
Oh, I see. I see. And may I ask, what, and why that particular family? Why the Verowitzes of Ashvane, deep noble blood? Not kings and queens or anything, but still, quite up there.
Relatives of a sort. I'm a bit concerned about them.
My dear, if you're walking into the circle of trust, we need to be open with one another. Now, I know we've only just met, and this seems like something very near to your heart. But the only way I can get good information is if you give me good information. So why this family?
Viola looks at Beau to see if he thinks that she can say it or not.
I just nod. He also
Okay.
knows she's not going to get anything if she doesn't answer this.
So Viola will look at her and I am their daughter who is
Go on.
not to be found at the moment.
Oh, no.
So do you know about this specific situation I'm speaking of?
Of course I do! Oh, gosh. Wow. So you... it makes a lot of sense. I don't know why I didn't know right away. Just wasn't thinking about it clearly.
Well, that clearly means I'm doing a good job of hiding.
Clearly. And boy, do you have quite the little, on your tail, don't you? Tail! And she kind of looks behind her and looks back at you. All right, so you want to know how they're doing? You want to communicate with them? You want to be incommunicato with this family? That's what we want.
Correct.
All right, do this. First one's free. I can get a letter out to you, or to them. Something you'd like to say? And she goes into this desk, pulls out a piece of parchment and ink, and Ste'yn, the ink does light up. As she pushes it towards you, Viola. Darling dear, whatever you'd like to say, this is your moment. Whatever it is.
What kind of ink is that?
This is expressly for whomever this letter is intended for. So in case we have anyone with little prying eyes, they won't read this letter. Not if I have anything to say about it. And I do, in fact.
Right.
Viola
Insert
just
joke.
kind
That's
of
very nice.
Viola just kind of stares at the parchment and ink and stuff for a while, and then she'll say, pick it up and say, can I have some privacy for this?
Sweetheart, yes. She'll move over to a side of just the wall where there's a tapestry hanging. You're not quite sure what all it is, but she can just pull another bit of curtain out, and it kind of forms she kind of sets it up in such a way that it forms a little an alcove area behind another curtain. She takes your chair and brings it over there. Take all the time you need. I know this is an important moment for you. Go ahead, dear. And then she'll scoot back.
Wonderful, thank you. And Viola will go behind there to start writing her letter.
Helena will sit back down. And how can I make someone else's wishes come true today?
No looks
Anyone?
at the Ste'yn.
Anyone? Lady alive?
Do you know... It's just Ste'yn. Maybe a last name, I don't use it often.
No? Now, it may not be the same sort of noble stock as a Virowitz, but, I mean, it means something.
I left them over a decade ago, and I don't intend to return.
Setting out for yourself, I see. And what an interesting beauty you are, indeed.
How do you have ways of getting information about things that are not of the light?
I have ways of getting information about anything at all. What do you need?
It's just the harder it is to
Information on the
find,
name.
the more expensive it is. He mumbles.
Absolutely.
I must admit. She taps over where she moved those 2 gold pieces. Just her claws tapping along the table. And they're now underneath the table. Well, in like a little drawer, whatever.
Right. There's a deity of the dark that I can't learn about from my sources, from temples I've tried or places I've been. Just got the name, but everyone else seems convinced it doesn't exist. Is that something you could help with?
A deity of the dark. That's what you said?
Yes. That's what they claim to be.
That's a much better way to phrase it. See, when you begin looking for something, if you're already starting on the wrong foot by using terminology that people simply aren't going to understand, then you've got nowhere to go. Now, if you're looking for a power, an entity, you can look for a type and start from there. So, what is the name of this? You said you had a name.
Most seen.
Interesting. Interesting.
Insight check to see if there's any sort of flicker of familiarity or of lack of familiarity.
Go ahead and roll. And while you're doing that, Beau and Snow, can you guys roll me a charisma saving throw, please?
Absolutely.
Oh,
21.
I got a 1.
Noted.
That was a 17 on the insight check.
You see her and her mind, like you can see she's looked away from you and she's very good about eye contact. And for a few seconds, she looks away from you, not looking at anyone else, just looking and kind of thinking. And then she looks back up at you. There isn't recognition in the name, but it seems like she is churning through memory. Like, maybe not the name or, again, the word deity being used, but the idea of something powerful in the dark that maybe the light has written off because of their terminology. That does seem to strike a chord with her. I can certainly look into this. I can look further into this. Yes. Yes, I think I can. And you know what? I'll give you the first one for free too, because we love having new customers. Love it. What are you looking for about it?
Plans, what it wants to do, what its moves are.
The
I know it's-
auntie I mentioned earlier spoke of it.
Oh, collaboration. Fascinating.
Yes. There's something very big at work, and not many people seem willing to notice it. I'd like to not be caught off guard when it actually comes to a head.
Okay. We'll start with some basics. I'm already versed in noting the movement of things. And Beau, her eyes settle for just a moment on you. Otherwise imperceptible, but you've known her long enough to know a look. Okay, I can begin gathering information for you. I'll get that back to you once I have it. I'll try to work quickly. I hate to leave people waiting, I really do.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Ste'yn. And no, is there anything that Helena can help you with?
You know, there might be. I had a curiosity.
I love curiosities.
If you have ever come across in your travels, and your reputation precedes you, so I bet you have, but have you come across magical rubies associated with the dark?
Oh, rubies. Rubies specifically.
Specifically rubies.
I mean, anyone can appreciate a beautiful gemstone. But if your question is whether or not I've come across it at this point, I can't say I have.
Do I get a free favor?
It's only fair. What do you need?
If you ever do come across any of these, and he will pull out the ruby from his backpack. If you ever do come across one of these, would you let me know?
She stares at it. May I see?
I'm afraid not.
Snow, how can we
It
build
is-
friendship and trust? And how am I supposed to know what it is?
It is no insult to your benevolence or person. However, I have had, let's just say, bad experience in the past with certain individuals who are trustworthy, not wanting to relinquish these. They seem to have a certain charm effect over weaker-willed individuals.
Oh, I see. And you're very much looking out for all of us who may potentially, which you're not saying we are, but may potentially have slightly weaker wills. Am I understanding correctly?
Exactly.
I see.
The fewer people who touch it, the better for their own safety.
I must say, I don't think I've ever come across anyone who has cared so much about other people's safety in the entire world.
Yes, it's a trait of his.
I'm afraid you've had a very poor sampling. I can tell you about the ruby. There is an abjuration magic upon it. It seems to be a type of magical casing to hold something else inside.
Hold something. Do we know what that something is? Have we been able to explore it deeper?
In some instances, blood.
Ooh, may I see it just a moment?
Sorry.
I mean,
I
don't,
do really wish that I could.
don't you have music
do.
that can help you with those charms?
I am looking into learning music.
talking
that
to
can help me
Helena.
with those charms.
Hmm?
Oh.
Helena.
She kind of, when you do get her attention, she looks at you, Beau, and she nods. Of course. I handle everything that comes through our caravan service, and I am quite capable. The problem is, and I mean this with no disrespect, of course, especially as you've dealt me none, when it comes to, and you mentioned the dark, and you mentioned this object, this lovely little ruby here, I can delve deeper. Yes, of course. But it is, of course, more often that I'm dealing with the light. So if you have an object that is not beyond my purview, but right on the cusp, then before I can learn more about it, I need to understand what I'm learning about.
I understand. If there isn't anything that you can do for me, that is very understandable. And
No.
he puts it away in his backpack.
It isn't that I can't do it for you. Of course I can. It's just that perhaps this little delve might require a little favor in return for the first help. And I don't mean a large favor like I have set up with some of my other customers.
Go on.
It's one of those IOU situations that once I get the information, we'll trade. If you're willing to do that. If you trust me. Well, I will do my best, even if you're not going to aid the search any further, allowing me to inspect what it is in fact you're asking me to look for. But I will do my best. I need to, of course. So we're waiting on Lady Viola. She introduced herself as. Ste'yn, you want information on this Mosine.
Mm-hmm.
That was the name? Excellent.
Yes.
And Snow, yes, we'll get you that information.
Viola comes out with her letter folded, and you can see that there are tears in her eyes.
Precious girl, come here. We'll get this taken care of. Now you get comfortable, and you see her reach down into her desk again, and she pulls out like this little mug, and it is steaming, and there's like this sweet smelling brown liquid inside, little bubbles, and these white little small cushiony objects that give off kind of a vanilla-y kind of scent, and she places it in front of you. You get this waft of just cocoa smell in your face. This is for you, and I will take this if that's okay. And she like eyes you as she takes the letter. Okay, she doesn't even look at it as she blows on it and folds it. I will send this expressly, and as soon as I hear back, you will hear back.
Wonderful.
Perfect.
In the meantime, have you heard anything about my predicament that you would be able to inform me of?
Well, I think probably all the same that you probably know already. Some people are very interested in knowing your whereabouts.
Do you happen to know where they think my whereabouts are?
It might come to me a little clearer soon.
Okay.
Are you just waiting for something from our end? Or do you just not know?
For Lady Virowitz here?
Yes.
Oh, it'll be, first one's free. After that, we discuss.
Well, I still have this. If this will cover it. He brings back out the die.
Okay, is the die magical?
I mean, I don't know. I'm guessing maybe. Oh, it's not?
Not really. No.
Oh.
I don't believe it pinged off of Ste'yn's
Just a
detect
fun
magic back in
die.
there. It's just an irregular die. It's a
Ste'yn will
very
reach
nice
into-
die.
Well,
Ste'yn will reach into her bag and take out a gem, a bloodstone. I shall put that on the desk. Would this get us the information she's asking for?
A bloodstone? She looks at it. She kind of eyes it, weighs it in her hand, looks at it all around. Ooh, where did you get this from?
I can give it to you or I can answer the question. Will either of those get the information Viola wants?
She looks back at Beau. You have found such great friends. Love this. All right. She opens her drawer, pushes it in there. She looks back at you, Viola. You have very good friends. What was your question again?
I asked if you had heard anything specific about my situation and if they had any specific areas where they thought my whereabouts were. Areas that I should probably stay away from.
I love a good story. And I heard a story once about a very peaceful land where the people worked their days and slept their nights. They played, they laughed, they loved. And one day, as if sent by the god, this beautiful vision comes sailing into their midst. A towering figure, golden, statuesque, so different from them. Ah, it was a magical moment. Now, most people didn't take full advantage of this sudden beauty amongst them, but some were blessed to even keep it. And after some time, this vision left the midst of these people. It was their time to move on. And some people simply couldn't move on from the loss of this beauty. And perhaps they began to search. And perhaps they came across the right people. And perhaps there's a little city. Maybe you know it. Maybe they're there.
Maybe you tell me the name and I'll know if I know it.
No, he uses detect thoughts to see
Okay.
what the name she's thinking of is.
Sure. You use detect thoughts, and you come across a brick wall. She looks at you closely. Oh, I'm sure you know it. Vision of beauty.
can you enlighten the rest of us then?
Do you also have bloodstones?
So one
I gave you the one I
bloodstone
had.
doesn't even get you a name.
She knows exactly what I'm talking about. See, we have a circle of trust going now, but it seems like all of this, it's not so much a circle as it is coming right to me. But aren't you going to talk amongst yourselves? I thought this was a circle.
Guessing
Viola,
it's a
do you
little
know?
town in Sanaa.
Smart. I love when beauty and brains come together. Listen, Beau, I didn't say anything to them about anything about you. You can tell them yourself. I'm sure she'll tell you.
Viola looks over at Snow, or at Beau.
But let's not fuss. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Beautiful. Careful where you linger.
So he's still searching even after all this time.
Seems so.
All right, well, we do have other things we need to be getting to. We might be in the area for a little bit.
Wonderful. I hope you will. The festival's coming up. When the Harvest Festival comes around, I do hope you will be in one situated spot because the festivals are just lovely.
I'm sure we will be.
Excellent. Is there anything else that Helena can help you with?
Do you have any magic scrolls?
Oh. Might be fresh out till my shipments come through.
Speaking of shipments, what is your take on the lack of transport out of here?
Well, it sounds like Hazelford has a goblin problem. What I hope is that I do not have a goblin problem. Because if I do, I'll have to deal with it myself, and my, I am already busy.
You want to happen to have any leads on the source of the goblin problem?
Well, as you know, I've spent quite a bit of time not in this area. I just
You
got
travel.
back in. I do! I travel all the time.
Where do you go? How
If
far?
you name it. If you name it, I've been there. Or at least one of my boys has. Were you looking to ask about a specific place?
No, I just want to go everywhere as well. Always eager to learn about new places.
Have you considered perhaps a trade in, I don't mean a trade as in a bargain trade, but a trade as in your work that you do? Traveling, learning, sharing, training.
I mean, that's all I do.
She looks at you, Beau. But this isn't the one you were talking about?
What?
He's not the one... He seems perfect. He's not the one you
Oh,
were sending...
no.
Really? Because he seems perfect.
No.
Thank you.
Wow. Yes, of course.
You're not bad yourself.
That one's name is Sazian.
I will have to keep my eye out for this Sazian then. Is he as good as this one?
Maybe.
I don't like dealing in maybes, but I guess we'll find out.
Different skill
He's a
sets.
hard worker.
Well, depending on how well that one works out, you might find yourself with well, I certainly won't use the word owing, but you might find yourself with a little extra treat. And if you can get this one.
How much competition do you have with Ike A?
Me?
Yes.
I don't deal in brick and mortar selling people things. You know what I do.
Oh, I guess that's true. Different markets.
Now,
No,
what I
different
hear though,
Hmm?
what I hear though is that Ike A, which if you haven't visited, they've opened up a store here and it's already doing quite well. Beautiful lines of shelves and things that you could imagine. I've actually done a little bit of transporting for them too. But yeah, it's lovely. Quite a bit going on there, and I could see them giving Walmart a little run for their money. Now, me personally, I happen to love what Walmart does. Bit of a Walmart lady myself, but if someone else better comes along, what can I say? They might win me over as a customer.
Well, we've been set up with the deal to stop by one. The Ike A.
You know I love deals. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Quite nice in there.
Well, Helena, the pleasure was entirely ours. Your company is enchanting, and it was incredibly lovely to meet such a... As I said before, your reputation precedes you. This has been an honor.
Of course. Now, are you sure you won't let me inspect for just a minute this little ruby of yours? I can guarantee
Maybe.
you perfect information if I can just see the thing.
Maybe next time.
Keeping a
That's-
lady waiting. How rude.
Well, it always helps to have an ace in your sleeve. I think you'll agree.
Of course I do. Of course I do. Well,
And I have to say, story very well told.
I have been practicing a little, admittedly. I'll tell stories on my way when we're traveling, and I've started to practice some different voices, almost like characters. I'll have to tell you when next time you come see me. As I do
You do.
expect to see each and every one of you.
I think you will.
Lovely. And, Beau, anything else that I can do for you?
Not at the moment.
All right. Well, let me show you out. And she stands and she motions towards the curtain.
You follow?
Yeah.
Lovely. So she pulls the curtain aside to let you out. You just make out this couple that's standing at the far end of the wagon with a Benny, and they've just placed like 2 gold pieces in her hand, and they're walking out with some little box, just kind of giggling amongst themselves, and they head out. A Benny turns around as you guys enter, and she gives another deep curtsy and goes off to a corner where there's a little register and starts fiddling around with that. Helena pats her poof of curls as she shuts the curtain behind her. Again, thank you for coming to see me, and I'll be sure to get that information to you right away. I will manage to be in touch, or if you'd prefer handwritten, you give me where you'll be, I can always just send you the information. Of course, keeping it delicate if it's going to be written. Any magic can be overdone. So we, of course, just want to be very careful depending on the discretion that you require.
Well, we move quite a bit, so more direct approach is probably better.
Ah, I'll send for you then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course.
The now goes over to a Benny, and you can use Prestidigitation to create a non-magical trinket that can fit in your hand and lasts until the end of your next turn. So he will make just a little spinning top with like golden sparks coming out of it, and he just like spins it on the counter in front of her and says to her in Elvish, "It's good to meet you. Have a good rest of your day."
she's staring at the top, and then when you speak, she looks back up at you, and she nods, and you see her hands do some small gesture, and then she goes back to looking at the top. Give me a perception check.
16.
As you guys are making your way towards the exit, you do see that Helena, she looks from the top as well and looks back at you. And when you look back and catch that, she just smiles, looks back at a Benny. And then you guys make your way out of the Silver Cat.
As they walk out, Viola will move next to Ste'yn and like grab her hand and look at her and thank you so much for giving that stone for that little bit of information. It means a lot to me, and I'll try to repay you any way I can.
There's no repayment needed.
She'll give her hand an extra squeeze and then let go.
Is her face still tear stained?
Probably. Knowing Viola, probably.
Snow will use prestidigitation to make it go away. She looks fresh.
Cute. Viola will then go over to Beau and kind of look at him and just say, "Can I give you a hug?
What?
Can I give you a hug?"
How about I'll just acknowledge that you wanted to give me a hug?
Okay. But sincerely, like from the deepest of my heart, and her eyes start to well up again. And
Okay, why don't we close up that little heart of yours and we can keep moving?
she'll just like give him a pointed look and say, "Thank you."
You're welcome.
Now, where's Ike A?
Which Ste'yn, in fact, knows, I believe. Or was that
She
the
got,
Walmart I mentioned?
You mentioned the Walmart. I don't know.
Yeah, Ste'yn saw where the Walmart is.
Okay, that's fair. You still had a 30 on that perception.
Oh my gosh, I
Earlier,
love Walmart.
I'll say with that earlier 30, yes, you knew where the Walmart was, and you also saw it was the same direction as the Ike A. You begin to make your way back. Beau, you guys are walking, and first, Snow and Beau, please give me another charisma saving throw.
18.
Oh, maybe this will counter my one earlier. So this one's a dirty 20. No, 21.
So, Beau, as you are following the others heading towards the Ike a voice enters your head quickly. A familiar voice. Dear Helena. And you hear her say, "Your friends have me moved." In a rare moment. This for free. In the last place you were, one got away. And I think that's where we're going to end tonight's session. Thank you from all of us here at Tales from the Catacombs. Catch up and recapture your favorite moments by subscribing to the channel. Thank you very, very much for 100 subs. And we appreciate you journeying with us to bring clean content to the world of tabletop RPGs. And a particularly huge thank you to my players whose links are in the description below. Please take a moment to follow these tremendous, tremendous people and their very exciting endeavors. David, who plays Beau, Catherine, who plays Ste'yn, Kassie, who plays Viola, and Josh, who plays Snow. And I am Brenna. I am your storyteller for this adventure. And we will see you back here next time. Safe travels until we meet again.